Hello and welcome to Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames, a hockey podcast. We are on live here, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on Wednesdays. This is our new time going forward. Now that football season is over, we'll be on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays, so put that on your calendar. Hey, we got some games coming on right now. Let's get into it. Let's talk about betting.
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
All right, fellas, let's just jump right into a big Hawks game tonight. Toast, you have the floor to talk about some bets you got going here for all the people in case they're jumping on real quick and want to get some late night bets in with 3 games here in the late session.
Yeah, so real quick, if you want to get some in here, my plays tonight are this. I have a 2-leg parlay going tonight with the first leg being the alternate over 5.5 in the San Jose versus LA game. And you're thinking, man, Toast, you're actually going to do an over in an LA game. That's really odd. But here's the deal, and here's the reason I'm actually going that route. The over for these two teams, they've both been over of late like crazy. The Sharks have actually been over the 5.5 the last 10 games running. And the Kings, they've actually been over in the last 5 or 6 games for them personally. And then head-to-head, they've been over the last 5 games. And actually, they've also been over 8 of the last 10 head-to-head as well. So I'm liking that over 5.5. And I actually also like a Ryan Green. I mean, like, who the hell is Ryan Green? Well, Ryan Green's a Blackhawk. He's my guy. Bedard and Nazar come back soon. Bedard's probably going to come back this weekend. But right now, Ryan Green's actually getting really good deployment on line 1. So he's shooting the puck a lot more as well. In the last 4 or 5 games, he's actually have a total of 15 shots on goal, 16 shots on goal. Over 1.5 shots on goal is even money. So if you actually put both those together, you're actually going to be able to get it right around plus 650. And then I have a little boost there, big boost tonight. But that one right there, the over San Jose, LA over 5.5, and a Ryan Green over 1.5 shots on goal at plus 671. Aaron, what do you got?
Nice,
here?
I like that. Anything from Aaron, you got anything right now?
Yeah, I'm going to go quick, get these bets in. You got St. Louis and Chicago. Both these teams stink. They're going to draw. They're going to go to overtime. So I got them at plus 295 on the draw, and I put in, actually, I did not take the extra goal. I got over on that San Jose LA Kings game, going over 6.5. You combine those two, you're coming in at plus 729. So I'm not going to call it a lock. I'm not a big fan of it. It is what it is. Put it in, bet it, and let's ride together. The player point parlay of the day, Stützle, who's been on fire. He's been playing amazing. Yeah. If you haven't watched Ottawa, watch an Ottawa game. He looks amazing. He looks better than – he's the best player on the ice. I don't care who they're playing. He's going to get 2 points tonight. Celebrini's going to get 2 points tonight. Combine that at plus 2 points each. Combine that to a parlay, you're getting plus 684. Celebrini's just Team Canada. This kid's got the world by the balls. He's going great. Now, my favorite, the long shot goal scorers. Thanks to the randomizer, put everybody at plus 300, but I capped it at plus 400 on the odds to get a goal tonight. Put him in the randomizer, and this is what it gave me. Burakovsky for the Hawks tonight's going to get a goal. That's plus 330. Shane Pinto, plus 330. Probably going to get fed by Stützle. And some guy named Taylor Ward on the LA Kings, who is 27 years old. He's played 1 game with the Kings, and he put a goal in. He's going to score again tonight. You combine these knuckleheads together, you're getting plus 7,665. That's your retirement fund. That'll take care of you for the rest of your life if you put enough money on it. Let's go randomizer. So that's what we got. Let's go, guys. Let's get those goals tonight. Hey, on the last time I did the randomizer, JT, it was just you and I. 2 of the 3 hit. I
saw that. You almost had it. I was like, oh.
I almost had it. We're going to see. Let's see how it goes tonight. I don't know.
Well, and I have a randomizer as well I'd like to throw in here real quick as well. Same thing, 3-legger, all goal scorers. You're trying to get them anywhere between plus 250 and plus 400. I think I end up getting this one here, end up being at plus 5,500. You got Tyler Bertuzzi for a goal tonight at home.
He's good.
He is leading the entire league in high danger goals because all he does is sit 2 foot from the goal and he basically just plugs him in. He's like a rat around it. It's like a rat on cheese. Dylan Gunther has been on fire. You can get Dylan Gunther at like plus 170 tonight in that game, and they're actually hosting tonight. We'll cover this around the ice. But that's a really, really good matchup for a hot Dylan Gunther right now. And I like Alex Laferriere as well for LA. LA's got a ton of guys out right now tonight in this game. We'll talk about that. Corey Perry, Joel Armia, Anze Kopitar, Trevor Moore, they're all out, right? So somebody's got to score tonight. They have a home game, which, again, I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. You wouldn't think that with the Kings. Put those 3 goal scorers together, again, plus 5,500. I put a 5 spot on it to win 250.
Toast, one I kind of like that. I know me and you were kind of looking there, throwing in that Ottawa game. Stutzle, take anything, you get on that point for Stutzle. I love the Fabian Zetterlund goal. He's been on fire late. I picked him up in our listeners league. He's been fantastic for me in listeners league. You got him with a goal, Claude Giroux with an assist, and then Dylan Gunther with the anytime goal. I like that. Stutzle point, Zetterlund goal, Gunther goal, Giroux assist. I think that's a nice little 4-pick parlay there in that Ottawa-Utah game.
Well, I like it, JT. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Any other ones we've got jumping, kind of biting us here? We're trying to get in before these late night games go. Anything else you guys got thinking? Just sitting on top of your mind you want to throw in there? You guys good?
Yeah, and we'll talk about this around ice as well, but nevertheless, real quick, because I'm talking quick because you literally have like 2 minutes to put this in probably. But Quentin Byfield with everybody out on LA anytime point. And if you can actually find that with a parlay pick as well, again, a Bertuzzi point, a Burakovsky point as well. You can get that at really, really good money considering they're not giving the Blackhawks a whole lot of love. The Blackhawks have actually won 3 in a row versus some really, really good teams. Aaron, we will talk about this here soon. I expect fireworks in this Blackhawks game as soon as they end up going. A lot of people says that shin hit on Bedard was actually legal. It very well may have. They say it was not dirty. I beg to differ. He actually never played the puck on that face-off with 1.7 seconds left to go. Had no intention of doing that. I think it was a dirty play. I'm actually thinking the captain, Nick Foligno, is going to make a deal of that here in the first 2 minutes of this game. You're going to see fireworks. They bettered.
Hey, quick question. I'm throwing in a 3-pick parlay. I'm taking Blackhawks, money line. I'm going to take the over to San Jose Kings. What do we like, Senators, Mammoth? We like either one of those teams straight up, or we like over under goals? Give it to me.
I like
quick.
over.
Over
goals? On those goals.
Yeah.
I like it. Boom. That pick, moneyline Blackhawks, over on the Ottawa goals. San Jose Sharks Kings over, plus 769. Get it in, folks. Plus 769 right now on DraftKings. I just locked it in. I like that a lot. Also, you know what? It's time. Let's do it. Let's get into Around the Ice. I feel like we're going there anyway. Might as well start it off.
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
As we get it talking about everything going on tonight and everything happening, a little news from the NHL. I think they heard the boos from the fans about the Miami outdoor game. They have just announced Utah is going to host at the University of Utah. They are going to host the Outdoor Winter Classic next year. I am totally blanking on who they are going to play. Colorado. Mammoth are playing at home against Colorado. Just announced it today. Now that is what I'm talking about. That's a Winter Classic. Utah, Colorado, out west. Now that is what we need to see. We didn't talk about it before because everything going on, but man, Miami for a Winter Classic game. I don't know if you guys saw it, all the fake snow and the beach on the sideline. Oh man, for people that aren't on Twitter, they probably didn't see a lot about but people on Twitter were just ripping the NHL for that. And I have to tell you guys, for someone who's does an NHL podcast, plays fantasy hockey, watches a lot of hockey, I totally freaking forgot that game was even on.
Yeah.
Literally, I forgot they were even doing that game. They usually do it like New Year's Day or the day after in the afternoon. It was a night game. I felt like the NHL fumbled that big time this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree. Well, I'm gonna give it both sides of it. For the televised audience, I totally agree. With it going on a late night game, I did too. I had forgotten about it. It just kind of blended in with some of the other games, and then I'm like, hey, wait a minute, what? Oh yeah, I forgot. So then I caught it. And then the quality of the game was not very good. The Rangers just absolutely destroyed them. So, I mean, you can't really control that. Sometimes these things get out of control, but I would say for televised, it was my least favorite. Now, I've never been to one. I know JT, you have. I've never been to an outdoor game. They've had a couple here locally. They've had them within driving distance. They've had them in Chicago, time and time again. I've never gone through with it. I've never bought a ticket. I've never been there. But that said, the fans that were there looked like it was a pretty nice event to attend because it was about 50 degrees, 55 degrees. You didn't have to bundle up. Your beer didn't freeze instantly when you got it. So it looked like it was and the baseball stadium, it wasn't a big like 80,000 seater. It was like what 30, 40,000, something like that. So I would think that maybe attendance-wise, this might have been the best one because you didn't freeze your balls off. But for TV, it was the worst. I could have not watched a single minute of it and been okay. And like you said, to your point, I forgot about it anyway. And like you said, I'm always on the TV. I'm always watching them, and I didn't tune in until the third period. So yeah. But Utah, Colorado, that sounds awesome. That's like kind of getting back to the roots of it. You play in the mountains. You play where it's cold. The fans there are going to be miserable. That's fine. I'm not going. I'm going to be nice and warm at my house, but I'm going to watch, and it'll be fun to watch it on TV. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I'm glad Utah got it. I love the Mammoth, other than the name of the Yeti. And we're not going to get into that, but I love it. That's a great move.
Toast, any thoughts from you?
Yeah. So maybe the NHL just bit off a little bit more than they could chew, right? Having it in Miami. And knowing how they actually had to construct the ice and where it actually needed to be, and that just didn't feel like a Winter Classic to me. I did actually watch the game. Also, too, the time of it was odd. Normally, those games for the Winter Classic are usually earlier in the day, not a later at night type of thing. And really, you guys are starting to think about like destinations on where the Winter Classics actually should be. I agree with you. Utah would be a great venue, and having Colorado actually be there as well. Wouldn't it actually be awesome if Buffalo actually hosted an outdoor game with a lake of snow? And just all hell broke loose. Wouldn't that be great? Or you got to stop the game like every 5 minutes just to clear the ice, and like somehow, some way, we'll get through it. I just think it'd be chaos. It would be great though. I would invite.
That'd be like
chaos.
The old school days of just like pick
like
up
the ice is screwed again. Like we gotta,
pick up hockey on the pond in the winter. That'd be fantastic. So I didn't go to the Winter Classic, but I did go to the Stadium Series that was at Columbus.
That's right. Yes.
So, but it was great. Now, was I freezing my balls off? Yes, I was. I also improperly prepared. So that was another one of my faults. That was on me. I was in Indy the day before, and it was like 62 in Indy. And I did not properly look at the weather to realize once the sun went down in Columbus, it was supposed to be like 40 the next day. So that was my fault. If I would have prepared and brought gloves, an extra jacket, that type of thing, I probably would have been warmer and would have been fine. But I actually thought the Stadium Series. So, and we'll move on to the rest of everything going on around us, but I want to talk about this just briefly. They did it at Ohio State Stadium where the football team plays. I thought it was a really nice venue. Now, was the ice a little bit far away for people? A little bit. I have seen some terrible setups at baseball stadiums. Now, like Aaron, like you said, the one in Miami seemed like it wasn't that bad. Now, me and Toast looked at getting tickets to the Wrigley Field when they did it a couple years ago in Chicago, and man, I didn't go, so I need to talk to some people that went. The seating looked real jacked. I mean, like I was looking at it, you were like buying front row tickets for ungodly amounts of money, and
Too far
you were
away.
way
Yeah.
off the ice because of the way they angled the ice compared to where the seats for the stadium was. So I think that's another big thing. Not only location, but stadium, I think, is a huge, huge deal. Now in Columbus, the football stadium, even though it's a monster stadium, they packed it out. It was packed. It had a football atmosphere. It was freaking fire. They had bands in between. They had a concert in between the second and third periods. I mean, they did it up. It was fantastic. Wow. I like this idea of Utah. They're doing it in a football stadium again and not a huge one. I think it's going to be a hot ticket. I think it's going to be a really cool game. So not only the teams involved, but also location and the stadium, I think it makes a big difference. Some of these guys trying to squeeze these into baseball stadiums, they just don't work well, man. You just don't get very good sight lines. You're way, way off the ice. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I actually thought, like in Columbus, I thought they did it right. Even though no one was up on the ice, there was a pretty good amount of space around the ice. Everybody kind of had an equal seat. So it felt more like an actual hockey arena, and you still had good sight lines. So I did think they did a fantastic job in Columbus, and it was a really good matchup because Detroit wasn't too far away. There was a ton of Red Wings fans there, and I think they just lucked out that both the teams at the time were in the playoff hunt. Now, they both melted down after that game, but at the time, they were both really in the hunt, so there was a ton of like people just fired up about that game. So I think this game next year, man, Utah, Colorado, I think it's NHL knocks out of the park picking this one. I think it's a great idea. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick because that was news today. But hey, let's hit up the rest of everything going on tonight. Right now, Utah on the board, 1-0 just scored against Ottawa. So I got to see who actually put it in because I was talking and not looking. Lawson Krause, Clayton Keller, Sergachev with the assist, 1-0 Mammoth. Currently in the first Blackhawks game, as far as I've got it, and on my thing not showing start time yet. Montreal currently up 4-1 on Calgary in the third. And then Stars was the earlier game. They won 4-1 at the Capitals in that one. And we still got Sharks Kings late game at 9:30. What do you guys think about any of the action stuff that's been going on in the league lately? I know me and Aaron went on last week, but just because everything has been happening with the New Year and Christmas and everything, I feel like we're not caught up. So let's get caught up a little bit on everything going on.
Yeah, so I'll start off here.
What's going on?
Yeah. So let's talk about a game that's already been completed. And that's Dallas Stars actually going to Washington Capitals tonight and actually beat them 4-1. And it's been a while since the three of us have actually been together here and chatted fantasy hockey. We had the holidays and stuff. And a reminder to everybody, like in our home league, in our main league, this is week 13, and we actually only have 4 weeks left until the playoffs start. I mean, so it's coming up on us real quick. We're in the dog days here, and in most leagues you have anywhere from 4 to 6 or 4 to 7 weeks left, and then basically you're into playoffs. It's not going to be long at all. But Dallas gets a 4-1 win. I made some notes here to say that, hey, Rantanen, Johnston, and Robertson, they've really been the ones actually showing off the last 2 weeks, and really that's no surprise. Those are big dogs there in Dallas. But Matt Duchene was a guy that actually you have to keep your eye on. I have him in our home league, and I've been kind of, wanting to drop him, but just knowing that, hey, he was out for a long time. He'd only played the first 2 games of the season. He was out for at least 7-8 weeks, and now he's actually coming back. And they started him off on line 4, then they actually brought up the line 3. Now he's at line 1 and deployment with Rantanen and Johnston. And so you got to really think that maybe Matt Duchene's out there. Especially in deeper leagues, he'd be a nice actually pick up there. And I see that Duchene tonight actually had an assist. And I was really surprised the fact that Wyatt Johnson had unassisted goal. But besides that, it was really a Matt Duchene assist. Other than that, it wasn't the usual suspects tonight doing it. Dallas was really lucky to get some good goaltending tonight. The goaltending's been failing them of late. And they're really fortunate to be able to go into Washington, who just got beat by the Hawks. The Hawks actually beat Washington in overtime, and Washington, the injury bugs actually hurt them bad right now. They actually, Alexa Protas is actually out. Tom Wilson, I wonder if Tom Wilson's Olympic bid may be in jeopardy, considering he's listed day to day, but when he actually got tied up with Andre Burakovsky there for the Hawks, it didn't look too good at all. So Washington, I actually like a Ryan Leonard right now. He's only 65% owned, 20 years old. He can be picked up. He's on a heater right now for Washington. And Connor McMichael. Aaron, you dropped Connor McMichael in our home league. I picked him up and used him as trade bait. Got him off to Freddie, and he had 4 assists last night, and he's really starting to pick it up. I think he's had 6 assists in his last 4 games, and he's still only 51% owned on Fantrax, only age 24 as well. But both those teams have actually been struggling of late.
Yeah.
Just wanted to put the little dagger in there, Aaron. Just a little twist, little twist.
Whoops. Boy, that's, but it fits right into, in Toast, you mentioned that we're on the cusp of the playoffs in most leagues, no matter what your format is. So just goes to show you got to still, even with that is, and I did it when I wasn't that desperate. Like I think it was in our home league, you get to 9 or 10 wins, you're going to make the playoffs. So I always shoot for that. I always shoot for 10 wins. Always shoot, okay, chip and a chair mentality. As long as I have a chip and a chair, I'm in the poker game. You get the playoffs, anything can happen in there. You got 2 weeks to play somebody. That's how our home league is set up. That's how we kind of bounce off ideas off each other, primarily the 3 of us when we introduce it to the rest of the guys. But however we got there, this league works very well for us. Point is, do not panic too early, or you're going to end up like me, and I just let him go. I got no compensation. Toast picks him up, wraps him up in a trade, and Toast and I were right there at each other's. We're neck and neck. I got the better record, but you have by far more points than me. So that really could come back and bite me right in the butt like a rattlesnake. So you got to be careful with that. Point is, don't give up on some of these guys too early, or at least put a little bit more thought in it. The whole reason I did it, I was looking for starts. I was looking for Friday, Sunday starts. I'm a big fan of that, as we all know. We've talked about that on prior pods, but you got to weigh it out, man. You got to weigh it out, really take a breath and think about it. And like you were saying, the Washington is they're 3-5-2 in their last 10, kind of hit the skids here. I hope, as a United States citizen, that Tom Wilson is out for the Olympics, because I think if he's in, he's going to be a problem for us. We have some toughness. We've got, and argue what you will, whether you have a scorer like Robertson, who didn't make the USA team, but you have bruisers like JT Miller, Vincent Trocheck, best friends, line mates, and well, I don't know if they're line mates, but they play in New York. They're going to be representing. They can go toe to toe with a guy like Tom Wilson. Not in a fight, he would dummy him, but physically they can keep up with him. So minus Tom Wilson, I like it a lot better. But then I think it's a crime that Sam Bennett didn't make the Canadian roster, but I would think he's up next. So you lose Tom Wilson, you gain Sam Bennett. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Sam Bennett's just as mean and nasty. Probably can't fight as well, but he fought last time and he scored a big goal in the game. So they're crazy for leaving him off the roster. Maybe now he's back on, it won't matter. And but I'm a Tom Wilson fan. Outside of Olympics, I like his style of play. He's old school. He reminds me of when we were growing up, and those Rick Tocchet, Kevin Stevens, John LeClaire, those big bad bullies, and I just like playing him. I don't like playing against him though. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the Caps stink, and they showed it tonight. Ovi did tuck one in, but Dallas looks like a machine. They're going to go. They're a contender. Them in the Avalanche. I don't know who's gonna beat them in the West. Nobody.
Yeah, the 2 teams that were the big surprise last year, the Capitals and the Jets. Yeah. Both struggling this year. Real quick comment from our fearless leader, Jorge, says, boo, Blackhawks, Red Wings. That's just him helping me out. There you go, Jorge. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Give me a little love. God. Give me a little love there. So you gotta appreciate that. Help me out. The Wings. Ooh, we've been on the Wings have been a heater lately. So they're at the top of the standings. Let's talk about this a little
Yeah.
bit on the East right now. Wings currently in the Atlantic are just 1 point behind Tampa Bay, who has just caught fire. I know we were all like a little surprised at how bad, not how bad, but not they just weren't playing great. And all of a sudden, 8 wins in a row for Tampa Bay. They've caught fire. They are first in the East with 55 points. The Red Wings, 54. I have to tell you, I've been watching a lot of great games, holding my breath lately, going like, is this like every time they lose a game, I'm like, the next game, I'm like, are we going to win? Or is this like the start of a 10-game losing streak? I just get real nervous after after everything that happened last year, the year before. But hey, I'm happy with things. The Wings went. Let's talk about this real quick. Really nice moment the other night. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, two guys, basically entire careers. They'll be locked together forever in Blackhawks history. They played against each other for the first time in their NHL careers as the Wings took on the the Winnipeg Jets, took on the Red Wings. That was a pretty cool moment. There was a ton of pictures, a ton of people talked about interviews, talked about those guys, but that was pretty cool, right? For seeing two ex-Blackhawks who basically, I mean, those guys rejuvenated a franchise. I mean, they absolutely crushed it. Toast. What did you think about that? I thought it was a pretty awesome moment that doesn't happen all the time in a lot of sports, but was pretty amazing to see.
Yeah, they've probably been waiting for that moment for a while now. With Taser's health concerns he's actually had in the past, and he's taken that long step away from hockey and then coming back. And let's face it now, Taves is obviously not the player that he once was. Neither is Kane. Even though Kane is still very serviceable, Taves is on that Jets team for one thing and one thing only. He's a face-off winner. He's one of the best face-off guys in the league. During his run, like he was the best face-off guy in the league, he'd run 56, 57% to something stupid like high. So he's on that team for leadership. The fact that he only cost $1 million. And Kane has been in and out of the lineup all year, hurt, right? Just can't really stay healthy this late in his career. But when he is on ice, he's a close to a point per game guy. But that was really, really cool for them to actually get that picture together, have that moment before the game. And you would have to think that the only time they've actually ever been on the ice together on different uniforms would actually been in Olympics, right? In the past, where that Taves would actually be not, if he wasn't a captain, Sid would actually be the captain. He'd be the assistant captain. And then Kane was actually playing for USA. So that's the only time that's actually happened. And these guys, so it hasn't happened often, and that picture was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think Taves, I can't remember. I think it's this month, his game in Chicago. I had it marked on the calendar, and another friend and I, we had talked about going. Didn't end up getting tickets. I'm sure they're through the roof now, but gosh, the Jets are they're just a bad hockey team. They just cannot get it together. They can't get out of their own way. Stanley sucker punching Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, yeah. Caught a 1-game suspension. I mean, if that's the highlight to your season, that and then the Taves and Kane reunion. Not a whole lot of good things coming out of Winnipeg. There was one guy on this pod that had Winnipeg missing the playoffs. This guy. And
Aaron, let's talk about that. That was a great call by you, because I mean they were like the surprise last year. I mean they were the surprise. Hellebuyck played out of his freaking mind. I traded Toast in a Cats league. I traded him right before he got hurt. Sorry, Toast, but now he's back. But we've seen as soon as Hellebuyck went out, this team just melted down, and now he's back. I don't think there's any recovery. I don't care. He could stand on his head every day of the week, and I don't think this team can be saved. Right now, it's insane. They have 35 points, people. 35 points through 41 games. They're dead last in the league. They're behind Vancouver. They're behind everybody in the East. At least has 43 points. They have 35 points. This team, to go from where they were at last year to where they're at now is just, I mean, it was like no one saw it coming. They huge and then just crash and burn. I mean, this Winnipeg Jets team, whew, this they probably didn't see this rebuild coming, but I don't know if there's anything they can do other than retool, rebuild, because this team does not look good. I mean, Hellebuck, it feels like all they have, and it feels like no matter what he does, he can't save them this season.
You took the words right out of my mouth, JT. He can't save him this season. He can't save himself. He's for Hellebuck, he hasn't been good. I'm actually looking at the numbers right now. For him, this is not good. A 263 and a 903 save percentage. 903 is actually not Hellebuck at all. Yeah, losing Ehlers, that takes off a lot of their depths as well. It hurts. I don't think guys like Perfetti, they've actually shown a little bit here and there. They've been decent, but not the players they actually thought they would actually be. So, and heck, you even got defensemen that actually have never that normally actually chip in, aren't really actually doing what they normally do. I mean, you got Josh Morrissey, 6 goals and 70 shots on goal. Another one actually that I shipped off in our dynasty league. I traded Gale and Neil Pionk, and at the time I'm like, hey, Pionk's a good player, and he is. 78 hits and 59 blocks as well. I like Pionk, the fact that he has 76 shots on goal. 2 goals, right? So some of it's a snake bitten as well, but they're super top heavy with Connor Scheifele and Velarde. Other than that, there's a huge drop off.
Toast, yeah. I just dropped Pionk in our listeners league. I was sitting there, I'm looking at my guys.
He should be better.
I was short on defensemen. I picked up a bunch of guys. I looked at it and I was like, I'm looking through my list, and I just picked up a couple guys last week to sneak out a win, which we'll talk about later. In the league, I had to pick up some guys on Sunday, and I was looking at Pionk. I couldn't believe it, but I was like, he's my most droppable guy. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, really looking at the stats, I went in, saw he scored this year, where he was at, and I'm like, there's no reason that I should keep him other than his name and the fact that he should be better. I dropped him in listeners league. So he has not been great this year. Again, I totally am with you on that. I was a little surprised. I picked up a couple guys off the waivers, superior numbers to him this year. And so, yeah, it's been, me, I'm a big Connor guy. They just, man, that team is struggling.
Yeah. I don't think they've gotten the development that they wanted out of Perfetti. Not that it's all his fault, but looking at a couple of things, I think, Toast, you said it perfectly. They're top heavy. Beyond their first scoring line, it's a 50% drop off in points. So you got your first scoring line all sitting around 30 to 40 points. After that, the next highest total is 15 points, and I'm included. Well, I'm not including defensemen, but I'm talking about our forwards here. So, Perfetti just hasn't matured into that. I had him well ahead of Velarde. Velarde's had a good year. If there's one bright spot, he's 37 points in 41 games. That's really, really good. He was out of LA. LA gave up on him, and he's found new life. So he's one of the bright spots in a pretty dismal season. But I would say just the lack of depth beyond that first line. You get your second, third, fourth line out. They're just not producing. Now, also too, their goal differential is not horrific. It's a -12. What that tells me, and I just went through the schedule, I just perused, they lose a lot of 1-goal games. That you got to be in there. You've got to at least go 500 on those. You've got to win some, lose some. You can't lose all. They lose all of them. All these games by 1 goal. So I don't know if they're losing it at the end of the game. If they're a bad third period team, second period. I haven't watched enough because it's hasn't been pleasant to watch. I'll have to watch. But you're right. The minute that Hellebuck turns back into being a human after he lost his cape or he's no longer has his superpowers. It's crazy what a Hart Trophy / Vezina Trophy winner, how that one player can carry a team and make that big of a difference, because this roster is not all that different than what we saw last year. They just stink. But
yep,
yeah,
they're 25th in the league in shots on goal as well. Again, it's not a whole lot of offense there. And when you play that defensive type of game that worked last year and a few years before as well, it's great. But Hellebuck's got to be a Hellebuck. You do wonder when he actually came back if there isn't something lingering. But again, probably not. They're just not that good this year. So, but But and they're not a fantasy option either, that team. I mean, really,
Nope.
again, people ask me like, what do you think about Perfetti? Would you actually have no interest? No, because all he
No.
has to score the goals and assists. If he doesn't get that, there's nothing else he's doing for you.
Oh, he
So
stinks.
yeah. So there's
I mean,
just and there's guys
Kyle
like that
Connor
up and
right
down that
now-
lineup.
Yeah, Kyle Connor's about the only guy. He's got
Yeah.
49 points in 41 games. He's my guy. I love Kyle Connor.
He's amazing.
At this point, he's that guy you put like on a team. I mean, he's like that guy in the NBA scoring like 25 a game for a team that's in last place. Like that's Kyle
100%,
Connor
yes.
right now. He's like
Yes.
he's out there. He's like, I'll get a goal here and there when we're down 4-2. 4-0. I'll throw in a goal. I'll do something. He's still putting up decent fantasy stats for you, but he's the only one. I mean, Scheifele is like he's got 48 points too. But outside of those two guys, I mean, you're struggling. You're struggling. And it's night to night. You're not like, oh, I hope I get a multiple point game from these guys. You're like, can they just please score because the Jets are so bad? It's been rough, man.
Yeah.
Yep. JT, let's chat a little bit about the Flames and Canadians game tonight, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Yeah, because I really want to talk a little bit about Montreal as well, specifically. But first, we'll talk about Calgary. Man, you go through Calgary in the last couple weeks here, and what do you say about Calgary? They're last in the league in goals scored. They're last in the league in goals scored on the road as well. They're near the last in the league in shots generated. It's surprising to me that actually Dustin Wolf actually has a save percentage over 900. So not that bad. The goaltending's not that bad at all. They're just not a very, very good hockey team. They haven't really accepted the fact that they actually want to they should be rebuilding, and they just don't quite want to do that. Their GM's just really in a position where he's never been into that at all, and they've had the opportunity over the last couple of years to do that, and they just won't. The only person, for my mind, in traditional scoring leagues is actually worth anything at all is Blake Coleman right now. Only 46% owned, and he's going to get traded. I mean, if they're smart, they'll trade him. He's their biggest trade chip. He's the most friendly contract to trade as well. So you got to think Blake Coleman's going to get moved out, but nobody's actually getting Calgary. My brother the other day is like, I'm debating, do I just drop Huberdeau? I'm like, yes, you drop him. Right? Like you drop him.
God, he has been no good, man.
Well, and you got a $10 million contract as well. He's unmovable. So that's just a fantasy nightmare there, especially if you're in a cap league where you've actually committed to Huberdeau and actually can't really buy him out. You're just in cap hell at that point, and that's just bad. But Montreal, they're going the opposite direction, man. They're looking great of late. Their defensemen have really stepped up. It's like Noah Dobson's finally now getting used to actually being on his team and really starting to fit in. If you look at his numbers, he's produced a lot lately. And so is Cole Hudson as well, which we actually knew he would. But those two together have actually been scoring together. And they'll play them both on the power play together at the same time as well, which is nice. And Ivan Demidov as well. He's been getting a ton of assists. Just really, really like his game. They're starting to give him a little bit more responsibility, more ice time as well. Opposite of what's actually happening with Michkov as well over in Philadelphia. They still haven't figured that out. They can't get out of their own way with him. But Demidov is actually doing better. But a guy that's actually really and he scored tonight. I always like when I actually prepare a team to talk about, and I talk about a guy, then the guy scores tonight. Oliver Kapanen, minor league eligible player. Today it was his 61st career game played. Drafted 64th overall in the 2021 draft, only 22 years old. I would imagine in your deepest of leagues where you actually have minor league eligibility, if he is available, which he probably won't be in a lot of the dynasty leagues, but if he is, you need to stream him, and you actually not only stream him, pick him up, because 38% owned. That's now 6 points in his last 9 games. He's actually scoring goals, and I like the fact right now he's 17 minutes a game on time on ice, centering line 2. With Slavkovsky and Demidov getting great deployment. This is a good guy to actually have. Tonight, he actually scored his 15th goal of the season. Can you believe he's actually on pace for 30?
Yeah, that's crazy. I was going to join in on that. Calgary, just to back up how bad they are right now. Kadri leads the team in scoring with 32 points. 32 points in 42 games is their leading scorer. I think the only two legit guys to even have on this team right now, or if you're in a Bangers league, and if you're in a Bangers league, Blake Coleman and Uyghur are the only two guys. Coleman, he's got 21 points, which is not great, but he's fifth on the team in scoring with 20 points. The one thing for him is Coleman has 105 hits and 29 blocks. So at least for a forward, he's getting you a little bit of hits and getting you some there. And then Uyghur with his 102 hits and 88 blocks, which at least he has 16 points, compared to some of these other guys. I mean, you think Uyghur is like a banger. He's got 16 points and your leading scorer has 32. That is not what you want to see. So those are, literally the only two guys. I know a lot of people were on Wolf after the great year last year. I don't think Wolf's the problem. I think everyone in front of him is the problem. So if you have Wolf, and especially if you're in a Cats league, you're just getting buried. And it's not your fault. He's getting losses. His save percentage is not as good. And it's not really his fault because the team in front of him is terrible. This Calgary team, I'm with you, Toast. They got to burn this thing down. They got to burn it down. I mean,
well, JT, would you think
their
that
whole lineup? There's like no one you want. Like Huberdeau's the best name, but there's no way I would pay up for him. There's no way I would want. In the cap league, he's unownable. You do not want him at all. But even in a regular scoring league, man, there's so many guys that have higher upside that he has 8 goals this year. 8 goals. It's brutal.
JT, let me ask you a real serious question before we actually move on from this Calgary-Montreal game. Again, it's 4-1, getting ready to end here. I'm going to compare this to fantasy football. Who's worse, maybe, the Calgary offense or the Jets pass game? I saw that Wilson led their passing yards with 395 receiving yards this year.
Garrett Wilson, 395 receiving. Had to place this week 6 or 8 and still led the team in receiving yards. That's where we're at with Calgary. I mean, you have to think about this. We're 40 plus games into the season. 40 plus games a season. Who leads Calgary in goals this year? Blake Coleman, 13. 13 goals. Leads the team in 40 plus games. And he's played 42 games. He has 13 goals and 8 assists.
Which is pretty good for Coleman. He's paced for 25.
Coleman
that's not
is
bad.
One bright spot. That's what I'm saying. If you're in a Bangers league, I have him in our home league. That's also why I know this. I have Coleman in our home league. He's actually a playable guy. He's decent. But he's also a low-end guy that costs you no money that you can get. All the rest of these guys on this team, what do you do? I mean, Kadri leads them in scoring technically with 32 points, but 8 goals, 24 assists. I mean, this thing is ugly. This thing is absolutely ugly right now for this team. I mean, honestly, I don't even know where this team goes. I haven't looked real deep into their minor leagues, who they have, but this thing is real ugly.
There's not much
Calgary.
there.
Yeah, and it's exactly my thought, because I can't tell you who's in the pipeline. So either that's a really embarrassing fact on my end that I haven't looked at it. I should know these guys on top of him, or maybe it's just that they don't have any. So I'm taking an action item out of this conversation. That is a deep dive in the Flames. All this talent that they've given up over the last few years, never mind the Kachuk and Bennett, that ship has sailed. They've been crapped on enough for that. But I really want to see if some of those picks, if it's a development issue, if it's bad drafting, if it's, what is it that's going on? So I'm going to take that assignment for the next pod and just kind of take a deep dive into the Calgary Flames, because what is this? This is a dismal product. That's embarrassing. That what is Blake Coleman? Is he 50 years old? I mean, the guy's old as hell.
51. Yeah.
So and then Zane Parecki, and he got in some trouble. I think he made some comments in the World Junior, whatever it was. I can't remember. I just glossed over the story, but he's been underwhelming. I mean, he's a rookie. He's 19. So, he's not Lane Hudson, but he was certainly billed to be Lane Hudson-esque. And yeah, that's a tough thing to do to anybody. But anyway, I want to know more. Last thing I'll say about that game real quick. You already talked about Captain. You already, I'm getting Marty Natchez vibes off this guy. He's top 20 in speed bursts, and that's first what turned me on to Marty Natchez was, hey, this guy's flying around out there. Even when he doesn't have the puck, he looks like he skates as fast as McDavid. It's a matter of time. Now his hands have caught up. Now he's playing with McKinnon. Kapanen, love to watch him. He stands out. It's fun to watch. I love that Montreal is good. I love that Detroit's good. I love watching these teams now. All these original 6 teams are back to being good again, and it's fun to watch them.
Aaron, would you, if you were asked, would you be Mr. Marty Natchez? I mean,
yeah. Oh,
I figured,
yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. What's he pulling? 9 million? Yes. Easy. Yes.
Every time I'm watching a game, I hear Natchez' name. I'm like, I just think every time. I was like, that's his boy. That's his boy. Also, a random fact since we've been talking about it: Blake Coleman, Plano, Texas. Don't see a lot of NHL players coming out of Plano, Texas.
What's that all about?
I can guarantee. I need to look this up because I guarantee Blake Coleman was probably a badass football player as well in high school, coming from Texas.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see that. I need to look that up. I did not know he was from Texas. I just looked it up. He is not 51 though. Toast said he was 51. 34 though. He is 34 years old.
That's close enough.
But here's the thing is, I always make this comparison to people. I'm like, if this guy is your 4th best player, 5th best player, you're okay. If that guy is your best or 2nd best player, your team's in trouble. The fact that Blake Coleman is like technically right now probably their best player, that's a problem. You need him to be like the garbage guy who's doing the dirty stuff, who's getting you some goals, making you hits, doing that thing. He's the glue guy on a team. If if Coleman is in your top 3 players on your team currently, that's a huge, huge problem for your team. I'm really interested. I know Wolf is young. I know he was awesome. I'm interested to see if they end up moving him. Like if they could end up getting trade. I mean, this team needs to think about anyone and everyone they can trade. Like you said, Toast, Coleman needs to be on the block. Wolf is, I mean, are they just going to waste away with him? Like, I mean, he already has as many losses through 32 games this year as he had through 53 last season.
Well, he stood on his head last year. I mean, it was.
I mean, he was amazing. And like his stats, you look at the stats, they're definitely worse this year. They're definitely worse because he has a worse team in front of him. But they're not so much bad that he should have. He has 15 less wins with the same amount of losses in 21 less games right now.
The fact that he has a 900 save percentage is impressive.
He was he was 910 last year. He's at 900 right now. He had 264 goals against last year. He's 2.9 right now. The fact that it's not even is pretty good with how bad this team is. So, like I said, it's only 24 years old, only 1 year's experience. You know, he was a 7th round pick. He kind of played out of his mind last year. If I'm Calgary, I think about moving. If you get a team that's going to playoffs, get some injuries at goalie, I would think about it if you could get a haul for him. I know he's young. You hate to move young guys, but this team has got to. This team is so far away. This team is so far away from competing right now. I don't know. So, let's get to the positive. Let's get off Calgary. We're talking about these terrible teams, Calgary, Winnipeg. Let's talk about some good stories, fellas. What do we got here? We're coming out about 10, 12 minutes left in the show. Anybody we want to talk about on the positive note here around the ice before we talk a little more fantasy and then we jump into talking a little about the World Juniors that happened this last week?
Yeah, real quick, I'll preview a game that's coming up tonight here to San Jose Sharks at LA Kings, and it'll start at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Boy, if you live on the East Coast, that's a late one. All right, I mean, you're not going to get over till 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's if it ends up just going regulation. But hey, Pavel Regenda, 16% owned. Have you guys heard of this guy here? And also Igor Chernyshov, which I actually know we've all actually heard of him. But I want to just mention this guy here, and Regenda. So bringing up the statistics right here, right now, and let me bring up his past 2 weeks here anyway. Pavel Regenda, 6 goals in 5 games, 17 shots on goals, shooting a blistering 35%, 1240 time on ice. I think he's a third liner right now, maybe fourth liner, but third liner. Of course, it's going to dry up a little bit at all. Undrafted, 26-year-old as well, 6'3". So 215, big guy. And Slovakia, he's from Slovakia as well. But San Jose is just kind of pushing all the right buttons with these young guys, and he's just kind of one of them. And then Igor Chernishev as well, man. We knew he was going to be something. And in 8 games played this year, or 9 games played this year, 8 points, 17 shots on goal as well. He's getting some sweet deployment with Celebrini as well. And this guy we actually knew would actually be something. He was a 33rd pick overall in a 2024 NHL draft. So for him to actually get that call up this quick and actually have this type of impact, man, San Jose, I think they found somebody there. And 52% for him is way too low. So San Jose, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come.
Yeah, I feel silly. Remember how we were talking about the rebuilds of both San Jose and Chicago? You know, they're always kind of going 1-2 in the draft pick, or 1-3 or whatever. They were all lottery teams, and we said, "Oh, I like how the Blackhawks went net out, and Sharks went forward back." Well, I guess getting Askarov helped. Certainly, that whole deal helped them, but. Boy, was I wrong. The Sharks looks like they're writing the book on the rebuilds, so good on them. I'm going to say, but before we go to the next segment, one last thing on Blake Coleman. You said Plano, Texas. I'm going to call it right here. He's got a $4.5 million contract. Dallas Stars have $3.4 million left in cap room. They're going to have Calgary eat some of that salary. Blake Coleman will be on the Dallas Stars for the playoff push. That's a deadline deal. You heard it here first. Mark it, bet on it. Blake Coleman to the Dallas Stars. Plano, Texas own.
Love that call.
Blake Coleman.
Yes. Yeah, and he'll fit into that style of play for them actually well. I mean, they'll roll out 4 lines that are actually really good.
Yeah.
He'd fit in perfect.
He'll get the Conn Smythe. He'll get the playoff MVP Conn Smythe, Blake Coleman. He'll have 20 tucks in the playoffs. Let's go. Yep. Let's get him in there.
Let's do a quick update on the Around the Ice Listeners League.
It's Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
So as we head into the Listeners League right now, Toast, Malort, 11-2 on top. King Makar is 10-3. I'm at 9-4 in third place. We've got a bunch of teams right behind at 8-5, and then a few teams just they're fighting up. I had to make some big moves. I luckily jumped on Saturday night, looking at it. I was like, "Ooh!" I was in a close matchup. I picked up 4 guys. That's where I said I dropped Pionk. I picked up 4 guys that hadn't made any moves for the week. I was in like a 4-point game. I went in, made some moves, picked up some guys, and got the win. So that was a huge one for me to keep me in the mix. Trying to keep trying to keep pace with Toast here at 11-2. But so far, for the most part, about the top 6-8 teams, pretty competitive this year in listeners league, right, fellas?
Well, let's just call it how it is. I'm dusting everybody's ass in this league, and I'm 10-2. And I'm going to bring up the standings right now. Okay, let's just do that for funsies anyway. But I'm 10-2. I've scored 2,400 points. We got a guy, Scott DeWitt, actually a neighbor of mine, 23-24, and nobody else is close. Nobody, and I've been scored on. Look at how much I've been scored on too. I've been scored on the 3rd most points in the league as well. It doesn't make a difference at all. I'm actually facing King Makar, who's 10-3. I'm 11-2. And guess who I actually have coming off the IR to actually drafted? Old Matthew Tkachuk. I didn't play. I'm just loaded, guys. I don't even know who I'm going to drop. So it's going to be it's going to be difficult. So if you guys need any help, you want any guy, like I'm open for some trades if you guys need help.
Oh, hey.
I know Jorge was he thought he had the upset on Aaron this week. He was it was a battle to the end. So trying to make up some ground there, but it's gonna be interesting to see who ends up making the playoffs in this league. Is like I said, other than the top guys, Toast is obviously way out in front right now. But we always say, just got to make the playoffs, right? Right,
Yes.
Aaron, you just got to make the playoffs and give yourself a chance.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's some good free agents out there. It's a light bangers league. So again, if you look at the top scorers, just a couple quick shout outs. Got Matt Boldy sitting in 5th in this league as far as top scores. And you got your boy, shout out Timmy Stutzel coming in at the 11th score. He's been on a hot streak. He's been the best player on the ice, as I mentioned before. But with those light bangers, he's adding a couple of the other under the hood type numbers. Those two guys, really great years for really great guys. We've been big on those guys for a while, Boldy and Stutzel. It's nice to see them really show what they can do, especially in this league and our listeners' league. So hats off to those teams that got those guys.
All right, let's jump into one of our last segments here. We'll talk about schedule and waiver wire pickups for fantasy hockey.
But hey, as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
All right, Aaron. What are some of your top guys, schedule wise, pickups? Some guys out there. If you're out there struggling, you're like, who's a guy I can throw in the lineup and maybe give me a little help here? Who's on your list?
Yeah, well, not to overdo it, Oliver Kapanen, he's number one. Love him. Love Montreal. Get him. He's fun to watch. He's super fast. He's Marty Natchez Jr. Get him right now while you still can. Although he's readily available, but like what you said, Toast, in Dynasty leagues, he's gone. Fraser Minton, the huge blue chip prospect, came over to Boston from Toronto when they traded the defenseman. Name escapes me right now, but Fraser Minton goes to Boston. He's playing well. He's playing with Pasta. He is 4 points in 3 games, not great, but still he's playing well and his minutes are increasing. That's the other thing you got to keep an eye on. Watch the guys that get the increasing minutes. Last guy, Justin Sordiff. He's in Florida.
Yeah.
Had a hat trick the other day. And he is he's a good net front presence guy. So he's that bumper guy. He's that sits in there and just, you were talking about, forget who we were talking about that was just sitting there just knocking the goals in one after another. Same. That's this guy's game. He's very physical, very good player. But yeah, he had a 5-point game in that game versus Anaheim when he got his hattie. So those are 3 guys. We got Sordiff, we got Fraser Minton, we got Oliver Kapanen. They should be available in your redraft leagues. Go pick them up right now.
All right, hey, let's talk about some young guys. Let's talk about some risers.
And you, young Skywalker, we will watch your career with great interest.
So I know there was a lot of complaining because nobody knew what was happening or they didn't know where to find it and they didn't watch it. But the World Juniors happened this last week. If you did watch it, you got a show. We got to see some of these stud draft picks from the last this past year and the last couple of years, guys that are up and coming in the NHL. I tell you what, a lot of these guys play overseas. A lot of these guys play in minors where you don't get a chance to see them online, or you don't get to watch them on TV. Every once in a while, you get a highlight on Twitter, on the X. Man, it was awesome to watch some of these guys actually on TV live, see some of these guys there. So it was the World Juniors. If I'm correct, it's the under 20, right? If that is that right? Under 20 juniors is what it was. I will do a shout out to my guys, Sweden. Gold medal. I got my jersey on tonight. Gold medal for Sweden. Just a fantastic performance out of them in this one. Let's break down kind of what happened here. First, they won. First off, they beat Czechia 4-2 in the championship. They were dominant most of the night. Czechia with a couple late goals to make it a game, but really Sweden, they had control of that game most of the night. It was their first gold medal in the World Juniors in 14 years. They had some disappointing on their end finishes the last couple of years as they thought they had a gold medal team and just got knocked off the last couple of years. Huge win in the semis against Finland when they just an insane comeback in the shootout to win it. It was wild. They were way down it. All Finland needed was one more shot. They couldn't get it. Our guy Antoine Frandel with the score, huge score to get Finland in, or excuse me, get Sweden in the championship game against Czechia. They ended up dominant there. I know you guys want to talk about this. We got some Blackhawks players who absolutely played outstanding. So let's get into this. We're going to run a little long tonight, people. We're at the hour mark. We're going to run a little long because I just want to talk about Team Sweden and these Blackhawks players. Antoine Frandel. I took him number 1 in our home league. It was a little bit of a reach for me in our home bangers league, but I loved him. I was willing to take the shot on him. I took him. I'm loving the upside right now. Everything I'm seeing. He finished the World Juniors, 7 games played, 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points overall, 31 shots on goal. He has an insane one-timer, people. This guy has an absolute cannon. You set him up, he can lay it down. It's insane. Really strong two-way player, which is why I liked him number 1 overall in our Bangers League. He was named the best forward of the tournament and voted to the All-Star team. Really, really great performance from Frandel. I tell you what, guys, he got off in the Swedish League to a huge start with a hat trick early in the year. They kind of started pulling his minutes, pulling him back. You know, sometimes in these European leagues, they don't want necessarily these super young guys to shine too early. They want the other guys to kind of get their due. I don't know how much you guys saw of Frandel, but I absolutely was super impressed with him. I thought he had a great tournament. Seems like a great guy. And I have to tell you, I am through the roof excited. I've already got my Frandel Sweden jersey on order. I can't wait till it gets brought up to the Blackhawks, and I'll get a Frandel Blackhawks jersey. I'm all in on Anton Frandel.
Aaron, I'm going to ask you a question about Frandel. Knowing that basically, I would imagine that the Swedish Hockey League's season is going to end before the NHL season as well. I wonder if he'll actually make his debut this year, or they're just going to go ahead and just let him finish off his entire season there in the Swedish Hockey League and just come in fresh next season, because he looks and passes the eye test for me watching him during that tournament as well, that based on where the Hawks actually are now, he could definitely help, and I think he could actually hold his own.
Yeah. I used to have.
I'm saying they'll probably he's probably going to stay there. That's my thought, but you know.
Is it the cutoff 7 games? Like if he plays 7
9.
or more, that counts. Oh, is it 9? Okay.
9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see the benefit. What's the benefit of bringing him over and doing it or playing him 8 games, let's say? So he's not going to get credit for that year. He's not going to go to RFA sooner. So obviously they're not even going to toy with that. But I just don't see the point. So all that to say, I agree. I hope that's what it is. But yes, and then everything you said about him, he reminds me of Patrick Laine, that big body, pure shooter. Great hands. The only thing difference about with him versus Patrick Laine is Frandel back checks too. So he's got the whole game. You don't always see that from a forward. You don't always see that from a guy this young, but you do with him. So I love the pick. I love watching him. The other guy I'd shout out. McKenna, Gavin McKenna, he had a lot of points. He had 4 tucks, but he had a lot of assists. He looked really good. He had a slow start, kind of like his college career with Penn State. I mean, Penn State stinks other than him, but he ended up leading the tournament in points. And then Porter Martone, who will be, I think it's the Flyers, right? He was a top 10 pick. I can't remember exactly where he fell. That dude's a badass too. He was as badass as Frandel in my book. He Team Canada, of course, Canada got the bronze. Very disappointing from Team USA. Disappointing outed. James Hagen's looked good. Boston should be happy with that, but overall, I would say what jumped out to the page of me, Porter Martone with Team Canada, putting in a lot of goals, looked really good. Again, Canada came up short. They got the bronze, but hey, a medal's a medal. They had to play. I think it was Finland, right? I can't remember who they played, but
Yeah, they lost to they beat Finland in the bronze game to go it. So yeah, so USA they lost to Sweden, that knocked them down. Then USA lost to Finland in a tough one to knock
yeah,
them out of the medal round. So that was a tough one. I tell you what, a lot of the conversation surrounding the World Juniors, we know we're talking about who is the possible number one pick next year. Now, Gavin McKenna, like you said, from Canada, seems right now to have the inside
yeah.
line to that. Everybody's really like him, but another guy from Sweden who really impressed. I like him a ton. Ivar Stenberg, 7 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists, 25 shots on goal. Really came alive in this tournament. He, from end to end, he just rushes hard. Great production. I think he's definitely pushing McKenna for the number one pick. I think it probably might still be McKenna. I think he's probably the guy. But I tell you what, Ivar Stenberg really showed out for Sweden. I think he really pushed himself. I'm shocked if he's not a top 3 pick next year.
Oh yeah, I think he'll go right. I think McKenna's still your first overall. It's funny because we had a runaway first overall and James Hagen's going into it, and then 2 years I would say out of his draft year, and then those 2 years leading up. I mean, he went way down in the draft order. So it's funny that and everybody with Gavin McKenna, we knew about this guy again 2-3 years ago. Oh, this is generational talent. He's McDavid. He's this. He's this. He's this. He's all this stuff. We all hear it. We hear it almost every year now. But it's funny because a guy like Stenberg can cut into that, can look at that. Look what Anaheim's done with the draft. Maybe getting some guys that aren't in everybody else's top 10, but they look great and they're NHL ready. Leo Carlson, Bennett Seneke, I think it's that backwards. But anyway, the point being is some of these guys come on late. They shine when the spotlight's on them in this World Junior, and it's a really good litmus test for NHL talent. So I would not be sad at all to get him in the top. If I had the 2nd overall pick, 3rd overall pick, and I get a guy like Stenberg, great, perfect. It's an amazing player. He'll be an amazing player.
A couple other guys you want to keep an eye on in case you want to make moves, whether you have a minor league team that you can pick up guys or guys that are not minor eligible yet that you want to pick up in the future. A few other guys from this tournament that played really, really well I want to mention, especially on Team Sweden. The Victor Eklund, really great tournament. He was one of the assistant captains. He was a first-round pick of the Islanders. His brother was a high pick of the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
He had a really good tournament, man. He just looked solid overall. Didn't do anything spectacular, but every time he was on the ice, you noticed him. He was doing something. He's making moves around the ice, setting people up. Really liked him. I have him in our home league and on my minor league squad. I'm super pumped about having him there. He was an Islanders pick early. I can't remember overall what he was, but I think he was, what was he, 7? Something like he was high. He was a high first rounder. He looked really, really good for Sweden. And a guy that I think has gone under the radar for a lot of people was Team Sweden's captain, Jack Berglund. He was a captain. He was a 2nd round pick from the Flyers. He really looked big, strong, looked like a guy that really kind of was the glue to that team. He got all the other guys. He had all the studs. He got them involved to make sure everybody else was getting touches, getting goals. I really was impressed with him. He was probably the guy I was least aware of as far as like I knew some of the big names of these other guys, and I was like, as soon as I was like watching him, looking at him, I was like, man, where did he get picked? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, Philly in the 2nd round. I'm like, ooh, he needs to be on my radar, especially for minor league eligible leagues. And even in leagues that not, he's a guy I'm going to have on my radar coming up as someone to pick up in drafts. I liked him a lot. I thought he played really well. And then another guy that I think we, can't get out of this segment without talking about, another Blackhawk. I feel like we're always doing it, but hey, screw it. We'll do it again. Also in the gold medal game for Czechia, Vaclav Nastrasil, 7 games, 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points overall, 14 shots on goal. Really high level skill and consistent physicality. He made some really nice no-look passes. He looked really good on the ice for them. He's another Blackhawks guy. There was a nice little I don't know if anybody saw it, but there were some things where they were going through the line, him and Frondell, like kind of ribbing each other, giving a hard time as they're both future Blackhawks. After the game, when they were going through the line, shaking hands, I think they were like, "Hey, man, can't wait to see you in camp one day." So they had nice stuff. He looks really, really good in this tournament. Obviously, you know, not a ton of points, only 8 points in those games, but I mean, he looked good. 2 goals, 6 assists, and just really nice passing from him. He was one of those guys, like, every once in a while you see those guys, when they lay a pass to someone, it's that nice, easy pass where guys can just, bam, they can take it. And you get other guys like, oh, they make the right pass, but it's not super smooth. You see that, you know, puck kind of chucking across the ice. He was one of those guys that's like, all those passes were just so smooth to set everybody up. I was really impressed with him as well.
Yeah, he's at UMass right now as a freshman, and 20 points in 18 games as well. And what really makes him stand out is his size. A 6'5" winger, boys. So 6'5", 190 pounds as well, and he's just going to stand out on ice, right, for that alone. Right winger. And I did not actually get to watch that championship game. And I will admit I did not actually watch a whole lot of Sweden or pay much attention to the other players on the ice except for Frondell, but definitely did notice him because A, he's a Hawks prospect, but B, his size, 6'5", 190 pounds.
Yeah, you get him and Frondell both on the wings. I mean, both those guys have great size. I have to tell you guys, as a Red Wings fan, I'm getting more excited about this Blackhawks team all the time.
There's room for you, JT. Come on
I know
over.
you guys are accepting me as the redhead stepchild to the Blackhawks. I hate it. I can, like I said, I can root. I feel like I can still root for them now because they're in different conferences. Obviously, if they play each other in the Stanley Cup one day, that's a different story. It's Red Wings all the way. But I'm loving what this Blackhawks team has done. Any other thoughts here on the World Juniors? I actually thought it was a really good tournament. I don't think they did a great job of promoting it and telling people where it was on NHL Network. So a lot of people didn't realize it was on there. A lot of people missed it, which is sad because they didn't do a good job promoting it. It was a really good tournament, though. Really good tournament. And if you're into fantasy hockey, especially into Dynasty, man, there were so many guys. You're like, oh, that guy I've seen the last 2-3 years in drafts out there to kind of get a look at those guys. For most people, the first time you probably ever seen them play live.
And what I liked about it, JT, is that tournament. What makes the World Juniors for the U20s actually the best, in my opinion, is the fact that you can actually see all of your 2025 draftees, most of them anyway, right? And then you're going to see the 2026 eligible guys all on ice together. Where if you're watching, the U18s and stuff like, you just don't have that. They're still too far off. You may have 1 or 2 players that are actually going to, make the jump and actually make it to the draft. But you really get a collective group of all of those guys that have actually been drafted and the guys that are still eligible to be drafted as well, which makes it pretty unique. So that's why I enjoyed it a whole lot.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know what you guys think, but for me, if you want to talk about any kind of international games, play, any sport, I feel like hockey just hands down owns that. I just feel like it's the best at every level, 18 under, 20 under, the Olympics. I feel like hockey by far is the best sport as far as when you start getting country for country against each other. I just absolutely love it. It's one of the, I have to be honest, one of the few sports I get fired up for the Olympics, or like, when we had the what was it, the Final Four, what do we call it? What was that?
Well, Four Nations.
Four Nations.
The Four Nations.
Yeah.
Like these are the tournaments I feel like are legit. I love seeing these tournaments. I'm not sure how you guys feel, but I feel like they're great, and I feel like the NHL does a good job and all the other hockey leagues do a good job of like letting these things happen and letting guys play as opposed to like holding guys out like, no, we don't want our best guys playing in that because we want to save them. I feel like hockey is one of the few sports that's like, yep, hockey's hockey. Let's keep it all together. It all kind of counts as one big, family. So I love that about hockey.
Yeah, you make a good point there because you think about the major sports, worldwide major sports. Number one most popular sport in the world, soccer. Well, U.S. stinks. Europe is very competitive. You have as many great players coming out of the continental Europe as you do England, as whatever. So you have all those premier leagues, you have those big shot leagues. USA is zero competitive. It's very popular. It sells very well. I can't even think of the name of the league, but anyway, it sells well. They sell tickets, they fill seats. They don't have a TV deal. Blah blah blah. It's not a level playing field. Basketball. There's some Eastern European teams that can hold their own with us. France getting better. Some of these European teams are getting better. They still can't hold a candle to the U.S. American football, forget it. I mean, nobody's ever going to show up for that. So you talk about sports. You talk about majors of baseball. Baseball, they tried doing some of that with the World Tournament and that kind of thing. Japan, amazing players there, but you just don't have the feel like hockey does, where it's a parity. You have Sweden, the Finns, Germany is up and coming. Slovakia, Chechnya, U.S., Canada, all of it pretty much even, or at least the games are close. And I think that's what brings the spirit into it. We got a chance to win. We can win. Nobody's going to dog walk anybody. I mean, there's some of the smaller teams, the teams that are up and coming, yeah, they get pounded, but you have enough of the big dogs competing where it's fun to watch. So that's why I think hockey brings it together. And yes, I would like to see it was on the NHL network, but let's promote it a little bit more next year. That way we can look at all our draft picks. You can see them all on the same team. And then you can see what's coming down the pipe and maybe create a little excitement. If you're a Calgary Flames fan or a Winnipeg Jets fan and your team is dog crap, hey, well, at least we got this guy in the pipeline. He led the World Junior and he had 10 goals in the World Juniors. It's not so bleak. I can wait, 2 years before I hang myself off the rafters. So, I like it. I love it. International play. I love it all.
Yeah, Toast, any thoughts from you? I was looking it up. They did just release today the Olympic men's hockey TV schedule. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to break that all down, but if you get a chance, go look that online. They did release, at least I did see the breakdown. February, I think second week of February, Olympic hockey goes on. They did break down what the U.S. team is going to be. Fired up about this tournament. We'll obviously be talking about that on the podcast.
We'll do something special. We'll do something special for the Olympics.
We'll definitely do an entire podcast just breaking that down. Guys, we ran a little long tonight, but we haven't had all three of us together for a while.
Yeah,
I felt like we needed a full-on show, and I wanted to talk about the World Juniors because I actually thought it was a really great tournament. It's something I have to be honest, I haven't totally paid a lot of attention to in the past, but now as I'm getting more into more dynasty hockey fantasy leagues, these are making big difference. I'm seeing these guys play, and I'm like, okay, that guy on this team, that. And even if you're not in a full dynasty with like a huge minor league roster, say you have like ones just has super minor, super small, like 5 or 10 team run. These are the guys you're like, oh, I need to start looking for that guy. Oh, is he open in my league? Can I go pick that guy up? I think this is the time when you see those guys, you're like, oh, okay. So I know I was like immediately like, I'm starting to search through. I'm like, oh, I saw that guy. He looked kind of good. Does anybody have him? So I think that's also a great thing for dynasty hockey. So, Toast, any final words before we get out here tonight?
Yep. 4 weeks left in our home league to make the playoffs. It's going to be a big push. But I definitely like the idea of Olympic hockey coming up. We're going to do something special as well. We may even have a long show and go live and maybe have consider a live cast, kind of like we actually did to start off the season. Maybe we'll do a live cast for an Olympic game that we actually like and stay on and really enjoy that. I know if it's half as good as the Four Nations last year, it's going to be awesome because the Four Nations was just amazing last year.
Yeah, I know.
What about you, Aaron?
I know in the Olympics, there's no fighting. We won't see those fights off the unless it
Oh
gets
my
really
gosh.
out of control. But you get the boot. You get the automatic boot. No, I don't think unless you do something really bad, I don't think you get a game sussy or anything like that. But you do get booted out of the game. Nobody's going to try to hurt their country or their chances. You're not going to see that this year. But that said, you still get to see some nasty play. The Chucky brothers, forget it. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait for that show.
Can't wait.
Cannot wait
Go
to get into
USA.
those two. Now those two morons are doing that podcast now. So now they're going to be talking smack.
Gosh, that's great.
Matthew Kachuk smoking that cigar oh God, it's going to be fun. I cannot wait.
Aaron, last thing, how about that fight the other night? I saw you
Oh.
posted that, you said that, and I looked at it, I was like, I was
Yeah.
like, that is like old time, I'm angry at you, like I want to hurt you hockey. Like, holy crap. Talk us through that fight real quick so people can look it up online.
I mean that's a Bobby Probert, Craig Cox fight. You know, that was exchanging. And it was funny because they got in sync, and it wasn't none of those punches were missing. They were connecting. It was Olivier versus Ryan Reeves. Revo ended up getting knocked out. I've never seen Ryan Reeves get knocked out like that, but definitely clean KO by Matthew Olivier there, reigning heavyweight champion in the NHL. But just rock 'em, sock 'em, robots. Stop, don't stop punching until the other guy falls down. Great center ice tilt, and Revo he did the concussion protocol. He ended up playing, so he wasn't hurt. He talked about it after the game. He said that Olivier asked him for the fight. Columbus wasn't playing well. Asked him, hey, give me a fight. I'll give you one. That's just how these guys work. They're fine. They're laughing it up in the penalty box. He probably had a beer later on that night. It's the beauty about hockey. You go and you knock somebody's socks absolutely off, and then you chum it up in the penalty box. These guys are all good guys.
Yeah, if you haven't looked up that highlight yet, go to X, go on the internet, look it up. You texted that out last night, and I missed it, and then I looked it up this morning. I was like, that was a banger. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that was a banger. First thing I thought of was like, oh, that's old school Bob Probert fights. That's the very first thing I thought of. I was like, what? I was like, that thing was wild. So check that out. Ran a little long tonight, but hey, we had a good time. Just a reminder, checking us out right now. We are now Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays. Now that football season's over, it's not officially over, but fantasy football season's over. We have moved to Wednesday nights here on Fantasy and Frames. So make sure you check us out on Wednesday nights, 9:30 Eastern time, 8:30 Central. For Toast, for Aaron, I'm JT. I appreciate you guys checking us out. Stick with us every week. Follow us on X or the Twitter. You get me at JT Orange, Toast at Toast Clark, Aaron at Titch4141. And if you can, go follow Fifth Hockey at Fifth Hockey on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube if you can. Check that out. And give us a comment. Give us a thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hey, been a great hockey season. Let's finish strong, boys. Check everybody later. See ya.